I shall just wait for it to appear.
I heard something buzz. I don't know whether that means anything.
It's not appearing. Is it going to appear? Home. Yes, we are live. Excellent. And the chat's working as well, so I'll just pop something in there. And we shall just share this link far and wide so everybody knows we are live. I'm going to have to shut that sound down because that's going to be really annoying. So that's in there. We'll be with you shortly, gents. Meanwhile, keep an eye on the lovely Elliot Tailforth. He'll keep you entertained, honestly.
I'm having to move my glasses up and down because I must admit I've got the football in the background.
I thought you were doing an Eric Morecambe impression.
And I can't see the football without my glasses, and I can't see the screen with my glasses.
I've got a bit like that recently anyway. Hopefully it won't spoil our cricketing ability, Elliot, this bad eyesight malarkey.
It's never done before, so.
So, evening everyone, and as we keep saying every time an Up the Dale podcast rolls around, we really should do more of these. But the last one was the season review of 2024. And lo and behold, the next one is the season preview of 2025. So, it's that age-old thing of should do better. Unfortunately, we never seem to get around to it, unfortunately. So, if you've seen these before, thank you for coming back. If you haven't, welcome. Me and my guest, Elliot Tailforth, who is our third 11 captain at Waltley do these on a relatively regular basis. And now we've got a 2025 season to look forward to. We tend to follow the same format, El, don't we, every year?
Yep.
So we won't venture too far away from that. We'll start with a very brief overview of 2024, go into new faces, winter nets, pre-season build-up, then go into the main part of the podcast, which will look at the 2025 season across all 5 teams at senior level. Quick look at the juniors, and then finish off with some club activities, which this year we're quite busy with, really. So plenty to discuss. So we'll dive straight in, El. 2024. We discussed, I think, in the preview last year about continuing success after the first team had won the division 2 seasons ago. Second team got promoted season after that. And we got another success last year in your mighty third team getting promoted out of Div 6, unfortunately because of the restructuring into Div 6. But I think all in all, I think we would consider 2024 a successful season for the club.
Third promotion in 3 years, I think, isn't it? That as it turns out, we'd actually won promotion earlier than we thought because of the restructure. There were 4 teams went up rather than 3.
So that last day,
the nail biting on the last day, where we're checking what everyone else is doing and how everyone else is doing, was completely unnecessary.
Yeah,
we'd already done it, but there it is. There it is.
Absolutely. I mean, I say we'll keep it brief, but first team and some of this stuff will get covered because in the season preview, I've asked certainly, well, first and second team captains and T20, because we'll get on to Sundays, to give a little preview of their teams, and certainly a couple of them have touched on 2024. But first team finished mid-table-ish after some very positive results and then, unfortunately, some slip-ups. Second team, it was I think we've always had this discussion, it was a season of 2 halves. First half of the season was very proactive. Second half of the season was not quite so. In fact, it was pretty dire. Third team, as I said, with a success story, positive all season, very strong all season, and duly got their rewards. Sundays finished second in the league last year, and was very positive with the introduction of 3 very successful juniors. And T20 did what it always does and provide some fun, light relief in midweek. So all in all, 2024, positive. And we want to carry on that positive vein. So we'll go into pre-season. Winter Nets, been running since start of Jan. I know you've been to a couple. Attendance again has been up and down, which is the Walsonleydale way. But all in all, I think we've been pretty positive, pretty impressed by some of the performances. And it's been good to see everybody getting down. And we'll touch on new faces in a moment, but it's been a good mix of old and new, hasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's always good to see new lads coming in. I suppose it's even better to see old lads turning up. And I'm referring to myself. Sorry, Lewis Skelly's just scored for England. I do apologize.
Excellent.
So it's good. It's good to see the youngsters down there and looking fairly sharp. Some of them as well.
Yeah, we've tried to get the juniors that were involved in the Sunday team last year integrated, and we're hoping they're going to develop and may well progress into Saturday senior cricket. I know they did play the odd game last year as well anyway, some of them. But yeah, we're hoping that have a continuation of that. In terms of new faces, there are 5 or 6. So we've got one of them who's in the chat now. Sahil Sheikh has joined us from Preston. I met him for the first time last night. Looks a very capable all-rounder, so we're keen to see what Sahil's going to do. Rana Khan has joined us and is a very interesting, lots of variations. I think I'm going to call him a leg spinner, but there's lots of variety in there.
He's a leggy. He is a leggy.
He's a leggy that has one that comes back quite sharply as well, though. So yeah. I think he's going to bamboozle a few. Gentleman who contacted us in the week was due to turn up last night, but has now signed up. A guy called Ross Rogers, recently moved into the area, travelled up from Essex.
Ross Rogers.
Ross Rogers, not Buck Rogers.
Because we already have a trigger.
We do have a trigger, yeah. Not a Roy Rogers or a Buck Rogers. It's definitely Ross Rogers.
Not Roy Rogers and Trigger, right? Well,
but I would say he's from Essex, though. So I'm going to presume he's originally from Essex. So we're going to have an Essex boy playing for us. So that's going to be quite interesting, as well as a Yorkshireman. We're branching out. We're going international. So yeah. So Ross, it'll be interesting to see get Ross involved. Son of Khalid, Saif Valimulla. We've yet to see Saif. Khalid's getting him involved. And then I suppose the big one to talk about is our overseas for 2025. A gentleman that goes by the name of Mahfouz Patel, also known as Jolly. There he is. Good timing. Good timing, that man. So, yeah, we are absolutely delighted to have Mahfouz on board.
It must be about 2 o'clock in the morning in India.
I'm going to say you're doing well to be up this late. No, I think it's about, I bet it's nearly midnight there, yeah. So we got put in touch with Mahfouz mainly by Anwar Talati, our umpire. And it's been a tough journey so far. The visa got approved this week.
I did it.
With much joking. Yes, much joking aside. And we are delighted to have him on board, a wicketkeeper batsman who loves to give it a smash, which we will love down at the Dale. And I'm sure he's going to love the small grounds that might be in that division this season. So I'm really, really looking forward to having him on board.
I'm looking forward to meeting him myself, because I did watch some of his some of the footage from the YouTube.
Yeah.
From the Baruch
Premier League, yeah.
Premier League. And I'd like to know, because it's not always easy to tell just how big those grounds are, because there were a few shots, Mahfouz, that you seem to clear not just the boundary, but the concession stands and everything beyond.
It's going to be. We had this discussion with Harry and Zav, to be fair, didn't we, as well, in terms of the Aussie grounds. I think were a lot bigger than we gave them credit for when lads came over, and they found that some of the grounds that we played on were a lot smaller. So it is going to be interesting to see what Mahfouz feels about the size of boundaries in the league. But suffice to say, he'll be an able addition. I've heard he's a very good coach as well, which will be good for both seniors and juniors to feed off that. A very experienced cricketer with captaincy experience. So again, I'm sure, Danny and the lads will be picking his brains and stuff like that. So it'll be very good to have him on board. And as I say, slight change of tack from what we've had previously, but Anwar's worked really, really hard alongside myself to try and get this over the line. And yeah, really looking forward to it. He's arriving. We've just sort of worked out today, hopefully the week before the season. So he's got some prior engagements that take him up to about the 19th. So after that, hopefully the week before the season, he should be arriving, and then we crack on the 26th. So yeah, really good, really good. We'll crack on with the actual season preview then. In that case, I think we'll start with the first team. Sensible place to start, really. I'll read Danny's message to me first. So this was Danny's feelings on the upcoming season, and then me and Elliot will expand upon it and say what we think. So Danny said, after an up and down season last year and a bit of team restructuring, I feel we came together as a team. I'm very keen on elevating a positive attitude mentality this year and play not just for ourselves, but as a team and to win as a team. Very excited to see what Mahfouz can do, and I'm confident he'll fit right in with our ethos, which I don't doubt whatsoever. He says, as for a prediction for the season, I feel there are some pivotal games that could make or break our aim to be top of the pile come September. So I think that's pretty much, Elliot, I think what we'd say about the first team chances in general, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got the teams in their division next year, I think, haven't you, Neil?
I have, yeah. Do you want to go through those first?
Yeah, let's just run through them. Let's just see who we've got.
And I'll give a bit of input as we're going down in terms of my knowledge of them. So you've got Exton Seconds, who came up out of what is now Division 4, came up from the division below. Our seconds played against them last year. Their firsts are in Northern League 2. So their seconds were particularly strong after being in with the first in Northern League last year. So they were very strong last year. Whether they'll be as strong this year or not, time will tell. But they were strong last year, coming up from the division below. But I still think they'll be strong this year. Hesketh Bank we played last year. Kirkham and Wesham seconds, who I have noticed their firsts have lost 2 or 3 players, maybe 2. It is the 2 Hogarth brothers, though, so that'll be a big loss for Kirkham. Lancaster seconds, who, again, can be strong, but last year were a little bit, I think, thrown by a lack of players at Lancaster. Longridge thirds, always around there. Maudsley seconds were the other team that came up from the division below and was strong again because of the same reasons as Exton in terms of first team being in Northern League. I think I was going to say one of the other few teams in that division with an overseas. They've got a South African lad again. Norcross first, who we always have some good battles with, and Ian Davis tells me Oscar Lucius, their wicketkeeper batsman from Oz, is coming back over again this season. Penwortham thirds got promoted from the division below back because of the restructuring. St Anne seconds, Tarleton seconds again, I think finished 4th in the division below and got promoted because of the restructure. Torrizone seconds, who, bless them, I think have been wanting to be relegated for about the last 3 seasons because of lack of players and ability. So that's the teams in the division. Any initial thoughts before I give my thoughts? Because I've got some quite strong thoughts on that division.
It shouldn't put the fear of God into Danny and his lads at all, should it? There's nothing to fear there particularly, I don't think.
I think that's very diplomatic of you. And I know Danny might not like me saying this, and the lads might not like me saying this. I think
don't say it.
I think with the exception of a couple of teams, maybe 3 or 4, I think there are some very winnable games in that division this year if that first team plays to its potential.
But and that's always the caveat, on paper. On paper, you're right, but it all depends on enough turning up on the day to do what they can do.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how Exton and Maudsley do, because they were exceptionally strong in that division below last year.
Yeah.
If they are as strong again this year, it could be that both of them have a double promotion, in my opinion. But outside of that, I would back our first team to certainly be in the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to see them pushing for promotion this year. I think there's a massive opportunity for them there. If the big players come to the table and the bit part players fill in around them, I see no reason why it can't be a very successful season for the first team.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I mean, you've only got to look at, Adnan at the top of the order, 1,000+ runs last year, going to be joined by an old mate of his in Mahfouz coming over when they used to play when they were younger in Baruch.
Yeah.
And then, look at the bowling with Ryan Ayaz as an all-rounder.
I was at Nets last night and Danny was there, and I was speaking to Danny, and we were talking about, and he was talking about his team, and I'm not going to go into full details about who and what and the whys and wherefores, but he did seem to have his first 11, his first 13 or 14, if you want, did seem to offer some good balance. You had the right mix. And if you'd like everyone to come off at the same time, don't think you need it. But if off that side every week come good, yeah, you'll be fine. Absolutely fine. No worries. You should be looking at the heights.
I think what you've got to look at, and I look at this for all the teams, in all honesty, and I'm sure every other club is doing the same. But you look at the match winners in your team, don't you?
Yeah.
And again, I apologise to the first team. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. I appreciate that, but there are match winners in a lot of departments in that first team.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And like you said,
I mean, don't even include Mahfouz in this. If you look at some of the matches that were won last year, and the people that won those matches, and it wasn't the same person week in, week out.
No.
There were a number of people that you could give the tag match winner to, particularly that we won last year.
Yep.
But you mentioned Adnan, Ayaz, Ryan, Danny himself, G.
So we haven't even mentioned Danny or G with the spin up either.
And but there were also games. Maybe the odd one I'd play, either watch the umpire, where they came on and helped change the game. And there are a number of players in that team that can do that. And I apologise to anyone I've not mentioned there.
Well, Matt Berry bowled superbly last year.
Yeah, Matt, and to be fair, looking sharp in nets as well.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's grown another foot since last season as well.
So I think what we're trying to say here is plenty of options for the first. Plenty of match winners, and we just hope that enough of them come off during the season. If Mahfouz fires as we all hope he does, I think there is scope there for a really, really positive season for the first team. And
can I just say this now, because I think he's still listening. From a personal point of view, I'd only be bothered if he fired against Penwitham and against Longridge.
Just 2 games, that'll do us.
No, it'll do for me.
Yeah.
Longridge.
We'll see.
My old club. No, I've no extra ground with Longridge. Love Longridge to bits, but my old club.
Just from a personal point of view, yeah.
The
other things we ought to touch on with the first team is obviously they're back in the Village Cup again.
Well, actually, can we just explain what's happened here? Because, and I think I feel partly responsible for this, Neil, because last year we were in the South?
Lancashire South,
South group. And I said, what the hell are you doing playing in the Lancashire South group? Because you were playing against some quality sides. Oh, repair and go, Manzi. You're always going to get drawn against some quality Manchester side. And indeed, we got drawn against Woodhouse.
Yeah.
Team Michael Atherton. It was frozen. I don't know whether that's it.
Yeah.
And we were soundly beaten. I think it's fair to say. That was a one-horse race if ever I saw one. So I think I said to you, you're far better going in the North Lancs and Cumbria section because you get to play in some beautiful grounds in Cumbria and places like that. Who have we got this year, Neil?
I'll reveal it in a second. I mean, a lot of people within the club know, but I'm going to say I saw it coming, primarily because I knew the teams that are in that North Lancs group, and you could almost predict it. And yes, of course, we've been drawn against another Palace Shield club in the shape of Torrizone. Obviously, it's Torrizone first team, who are a little bit higher placed than us in the division, in the league. So, we'll just have to wait and see from that point of view.
But still a winnable game. And when we do win, who are our options, Neil?
Well, I mean, I believe it's Grimsby or who is it? Grimsby or
I think they're maybe playing the Cumbrian side.
Actually. Yeah, I think it is. Is it not Lanercost or someone like that?
I can't remember
because I think the Grimsby played them a couple of years ago as well. But yeah, I think we could draw Grimsby in the next round if we happen to beat Torrizone. So
I used to play. When I was at Ribchester, when Ribchester other side, we played in the Village Knockout. Quite a few years, and we always ended up playing up in Cumbria and went to some really nice grounds. Went to Burnside, who are now in the Palace Shield.
Yeah.
Milnthorpe, Silverdale. What's the place called? I can't think of it. Where they run the gypsies run the horses through the river.
Oh, Appleby.
Yeah. And the ground there's right next to the. In fact, they had a quick bowler who was rapidly quick. It was all over the place, rapidly quick, and I think a few of his balls went for extras into the river, and one or two other grounds up there. So I was rather hoping that we'd land with draws like that. So I feel responsible. Although, hey, listen, we're a good set of lads at Torrizone, let's be honest.
Don't blame myself. Danny was also pushing to be in that group as well for potentially less travelling. So we've certainly got less travelling because we've been drawn at home. But I think he might be trying to reverse the fixture. That might be news to Torrizone if any from Torrizone reads this. But but Village Cup, again, it's something different. We haven't got the League Cup draw yet. That, I believe, is being done within the next week or so. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. So we don't know who we've got in the actual league in the Loxham Cup this year yet. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But all in all, first team, hopefully a very positive season with the firepower that we've got this year if they fire. So good luck to the first. Moving on to the second team, and I shall pull Division 4 up and I shall get Adnan's message. Excuse me. So Adnan said, yes, new captain this year, Adnan Shafiq. Season 2025, I think this team have potential of winning the league. Looking at the performance of last year, first half, we were brilliant. Unfortunately, we lost a few key players and started to lose. I'm trying to build up everyone's confidence, adding a few more players. So I think potentially we'll have a great season. He's looking forward to seeing Suhail Sheikh. And he's played at a higher level, can bowl fast, can hit a few sixes. So Suhail is Adnan's man to watch. So looking at the table or the league for the seconds, Blackpool thirds came up, I think, were champions in the league below. So I think Blackpool are having a little bit of a renaissance at the moment. So we'll wait to see how they perform. Eccleston seconds, still in that division. Ford and Broughton thirds also came up from the division below. I think finished. No, they didn't finish second. I think they finished third. Fylde seconds finished second, and obviously Fylde are really a club on the move at the moment. I know they've signed a lot of players in their first team, so
yeah, I mean, and it's good to see because Fylde they've always been one of the stalwarts of Palace Shield cricket, but have had, I don't think it's unfair to say, a few years in the doldrums, to be quite honest. But they reintroduced their third team last year, didn't they?
Yeah.
Who started off well in what was Div 6, but fell away a little bit at the end. But that told me that there was signs of a recovery for Fylde, so fair play to them.
Yeah, I've spoken to a couple of guys at Fylde over the last couple of years about a variety of different things, and they're clearly a club on the move. Their clubhouse is super active now. They've clearly got things in line. I genuinely think that'll be one of the tougher matches this year. I'll be surprised if it isn't. I think they're improving across the club, and I envisage that their seconds will be a lot stronger than they were last year. And if they finish second in the division below last year, I think it could be a tough match, that one.
And always I like Fylde. It's a proper cricket ground. This Fylde,
Absolutely, yeah, it's decent.
Proper, yeah, I like Fylde. Yeah.
Apart from a couple of years ago when the outfield was like blue tack, but I know they've tried to sort that this year, so hopefully that's not the same. Anyway, Craigie Lane, as always, local derby. Grimsby seconds, another always tough match. We have some good games against Grimsby, actually. Leyland thirds, we know what we get with Leyland thirds, give or take, depends on availability with Leyland.
Yeah.
South Shore, again, another team we have some good matches against. Vernon's thirds, same as Leyland, really. Although I know that, outside of below second team at Vernon's, I know they found it a bit tough in thirds and fourths certainly last season. I won't say last couple of years, but certainly last season was a bit tough for them, speaking to a couple at Vernon's lads. So hopefully they've got a bit of strength back in that. Whittingham, we obviously know quite a lot of the Whittingham lads, some of our ex-players there. And Wire first team, who also came up because of the restructure from division below. So a lovely trip to Cotton Hall playing fields on the cards for the seconds. So
just thought, funnily enough, Wire's one of those Cotton Hall playing fields. A lot of people don't like going there. I've always enjoyed going there, and I've always had a decent I had a couple of 50s there, and certainly more than 1 so I've always enjoyed playing there. But I did hear, I don't know whether you've heard this, Neil, as well, the pavilion there, which from a distance looks like quite it could be quite smart. And you get into it, and it's not. It's been let to go to wreck and ruin. But I'm sure I was speaking to lads from Wire last year, and the council have now agreed to. Previously said no, we're not throwing money into it. It's not worth it. I think they've overturned that decision, and I believe that there are plans for that to be redeveloped or refurbished, or certainly made into a better state than perhaps it was. And I don't say that with any malice towards the Wire lads.
Yeah.
Again, always got on with the Wire lads. They would say the same as well. That it was a crying shame that pavilion had been left to go to the state it was. But yeah, I'm told it's going to be improved.
I do hope so, as I said, for the sake of the Wire lads, because I know as a group of lads, they put a hell of a lot of work.
Oh, they're a great set of lads. They're a great set of lads. I mean, I first came across Wire. They were playing in before they joined Palace Shield. They were
Blackpool and District League.
Blackpool, and it was mainly Sunday cricket.
Yeah.
So I played against them a few times for Longridge in Sunday cricket, and always a decent set of lads with the potential facilities, but it needed someone to say, yeah, let's go ahead and sort it. So
I think that it's much like ourselves from time to time. I think they suffer because of the location. It's a little bit isolated at the back of the fields there, and I think they suffer from a bit of damage from local use and stuff like that, much as we've suffered over the years. So it's, again, a lot of it's out of their control. So yeah.
I mean, the irony of it is you've got Polton Football Club right next door with a really good clubhouse.
Yeah.
40 clubhouse. It's a pity that the clubhouse couldn't have been at the cricket side of the football pitch.
The football ground,
purpose, but
yeah.
I apologise to the lads from Polton and Fylde Football Club because they might not like me saying that, but these yes, we can't have it all.
So looking at that in that division as a whole, it's going to be an interesting one because, as I say, other than my little knowledge of Fylde's situation, I got the impression that Blackpool thirds were a lot better last year than they had been previously, hence why they won the division.
If we're talking about put it into terms of like we did with the first team, winnable games, there are no clearly. There's not as many clearly winnable games in that I see.
No, I think that is a very, very
I think
level playing field.
I think it is. I think it is.
I mean, last year you had Exton and Maudsley who stood out like sore thumbs.
Oh.
Don't think there's anybody who literally stands out like a sore thumb, but I think to coin a cliche, that division is going to be one of those divisions where anybody can beat anybody on their day this season. I genuinely think that's going to be the case.
Sorry, I'm just going to have to Google if coin the cliche is a valid term. I don't think it is, but I'll let you off because you're from Yorkshire.
Well, you're going to have to because we've got to go.
Then you speak differently.
Correct.
It looks like it's a competitive division. I think it's the best way of putting it.
Yeah, absolutely. But good luck to Adnan and the seconds. Hopefully,
I'm sorry to interrupt. The key for both Danny and Adnan and me as well, and it's what enabled the thirds last year to do as well as did. It's that consistency.
Yeah,
maybe not getting the same players in every week. You won't have the same 11 every week, but it's that consistency of your squad, of your 15, 16, and making sure that enough people perform on the day.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully it's a steady away season, a little bit less up and down as last year was. Like you say, a bit more consistency and good luck to the seconds. We will move on to your team because you haven't sent me a message.
No, because I'm on this podcast.
So you don't need to. Right. So going through your teams, BAC Preston first 11 in Division 6, obviously because their first 11 have migrated to Widnall Fold. So their second 11 have automatically become a first 11 now. Charnock St James seconds came up with you last year from Division 6 to Division 6. Fyle thirds, again, same situation. Garstang thirds, again, same situation. Great Eck thirds, you played, I think, the season before that.
Yes.
They went up just ahead of you, I think, didn't they?
Yeah.
Penwortham fourth, so I believe we've got on the first game of the season on the Sunday. Rufford seconds, who came up last year, very competitive side.
Yeah.
St Anne's thirds, Tarleton thirds, Widnall Fold seconds, and Ray Green seconds. So there's a lot of teams that you've played either last year or the year before in that division.
I mean, go back to the ones that we played a couple of years ago, Ray Green and Great Eccleston. Great Eck are a steady enough side. I don't know if they're still playing at St Aidan's at Pre-Sub.
Yes.
Are they?
I believe so.
The plastic wicket, and not my favourite plastic wicket. You know what I'm saying? And I think that does give them something of an advantage. I mean, it shouldn't, but it does. Right. Ray Green, I mean, some of the lads that they had 2 years ago, very good strong side. I don't know if they've got the same players there, but they'll be strong. I mean, we did beat them at their place. I think I took 6 wickets, actually. There we go, we won't mention it. Oh, right. You want to repeat that? I think I took 6 wickets.
You did go a bit quiet then, but yeah, you said that Ray Green will be a strong side if they're similar to what they were.
We beat them at their place when I took 6 wickets.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm glad it cut out while you were doing that.
So, and of the teams that went up with us this year, Charnock sort of had, I'm not saying a late surge, didn't have, if I remember rightly,
come on. Stop pussyfooting around. Let's be honest. They brought in 2 or 3 new players in July
who were
basically boosted them terrifically.
Yeah,
I think there's no shame in saying that because that's what happened.
Who were playing well below their standard.
Yeah,
it's fair to say. So
and it's going to be interesting this year again because I'm a complete cricket badger, and I do check Palace Shield transfers page on a regular basis, not daily, every other day. Yeah. I've noticed that there's been, I think, 3 or 4 lads who I would have considered regular Charnock first team lads and almost died in the wool Charnock first team lads who have left the club. It's going to be interesting to see how that impacts.
Yeah, well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because Charnock first team last year, I think they finished bottom of whatever division.
Next to bottom of 1B, yeah.
And struggled. And there were lads playing in their twos who arguably should have been playing in the ones.
Yeah.
But I suspect, and fair play, they wanted to support promotion for the twos.
And there was no relegation last year.
And there was no relegation, so there was no risk to the first. So I don't know whether that has any effect on it or not. Rufford, lovely ground, one of my favourite grounds, Rufford.
Lovely ground, love Rufford.
And a nice group of people. I think Emily Sutton's still going to be captain there. Lovely lasses, Emily, and a very capable cricketer, and with very capable cricketers around her. I think honours were even last year. I think we won one, lost one. I think the one we lost. I think both games were fairly close, to be fair. Both games at their ground for various reasons.
Yeah.
They're both our own game and away game there. So I'm looking forward to going to Rufford again and saying hi to them. Garstang were the others who benefited from the rejig.
Restructure, yeah.
Restructure. And again, I mean, Ian. Sorry, Phil Baxendale. Phil Baxendale, the captain. Sorry, Ian was Phil's dad. I've known.
I'm sure he'll love you for that.
Well, no, I've known Phil for years because I used to play against him when I was playing Bodies League for Ribchester 30 years ago. So I've known Phil a long time, and yeah, I mean we went to their place. How did we end up playing at their place twice?
Well, yeah, I don't know how it worked out like that, but you played on the main ground the first time.
We played on the main ground, and then we played on the
Goalgate.
At Goalgate. So I'm not quite sure why we didn't play one at home. Anyway, never mind. We only had 9 players, 9.5, when we turned up at their grounds, and were soundly beaten. And we threw it away a bit when we played at Goalgate. In fact, Phil was the one who came in. We had him virtually all down.
I think it was about 8 or 9 down, and
it was 8 or 9 down.
Not out at end,
and Phil proper rearguard action after Ibby had given them the treatment in his innings. Ibby saying, and Phil won the game for them. We let it slip that big style, and that could have cost us promotion.
Yeah,
it didn't, but it could have done. So yeah, Garstang and Goalgate is. It was the first season at Goalgate, I think, for their thirds.
Yes.
And again, I was chatting to Phil about it, and he was saying that they're going to be putting in a lot of work over the close season on that. So hopefully that will improve. A lovely little setting, but I think fair to say it needed a bit of work doing on the wicket and what have you. But Phil said that's all in hand.
I mean, look, as I said, looking at that division.
You said about the level playing field of the twos division.
Yeah,
I think ours is a leveler playing field.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. I'm just going to say that.
I think ours is the most competitive
division. Yeah, I don't think there's any easy games in there whatsoever. I think, yeah, you're quite right. I think it's going to be, a very competitive division. So seconds and thirds, I think, are it's going to be a tough season, but an enjoyable one. So, yeah.
Well, with the people I've got, I mean, my biggest headache this year is I've got, on the face of it, more players than I have spaces for.
Yeah,
and it's going to be how do I accommodate them? So it's balancing that with giving I'm a third team. You're meant to be there to give lads a game, so it's balancing that with also trying to finish as high up the league as you can.
Yeah.
I mean, the good thing is that most of the lads that I've got available, I'd have no problem in putting in anyway.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of lads who are all quite capable. And again, like I said before, if they can do it on the day, ...
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting season for the thirds, but hard work was done last year. as we said with seconds and first previous years, I think you do the hard work and getting up. Season after that, concentrate on enjoying your cricket, and hopefully, if you enjoy your cricket, you should always perform better. So, let's do that. So we'll wait and see. So good luck to you and the third Zell, and hopefully it's another successful season. We'll move on to the Sunday team. As I say, successful season for the Sundays last year. Ended up finishing second in the league somehow. Not something we ultimately set out to do when we reintroduced the Sunday team, but a nice offshoot all the same. Led by Trigger, who very ably blended the team with experience and quality, with also youth and development and sort of opportunity for others who maybe didn't play on Saturdays, which there was a few lads like that. So no, it was a really good mix of lads last year, and I think it achieved, I think we said at the presentation night, Sundays achieved everything that we wanted it to achieve in terms of that mix of players getting time to play on the Sunday.
And beyond that as well, because as you said, they came second, which was an amazing achievement, really. Who won that league?
Preston.
Who have they?
Preston Cricket Club's Sunday second team.
Have they gone up? Because you have this bizarre, where you can opt not to be promoted.
Yeah, no, they haven't, but they're not in our division.
All right,
I don't think. Oh, maybe they have. Or maybe they've just amalgamated to one.
Right.
So no, they've got two teams in Sunday Division 1. There you go.
Interesting. So who's in Div 2 then?
So in Sunday Division 2 South, just in terms of captains this year, Trigger's not doing it this year. We're in the midst of sorting Sunday team captain out, so we will bring that to you as we've got that. Teams are Bretherton have come into the Sunday Division. I don't know that they've ever been in before. So Bretherton are in there. And then we're in Sunday Division 2 South. And it's a lot of the usual suspects. So Chorley, who we had a very good game with last year. Had a good chat with Ollie Jones, chairman, I believe Ollie is. Sorry if I'm wrong there, Ollie. Afterwards, we had a really good... I got called up at about 20-1 to fill a gap. And we had a really good match with them. And we just about scraped over the line. Croston... We played first game of the year last year on a baking hot day, and that was a really good game as well. Exton, Greggy Lane, Leyland, Maudsley, New Longton, Whittle, and Withnell. So a real good mix of teams, really.
Yeah, and bearing in mind that most teams quite rightly use this as the development cricket. I mean, it's very difficult to predict what might turn up.
Yeah.
Season. But if you go off previous seasons, I mean, there's games there. Every game's winnable. Every game's losable, quite frankly.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's an opportunity to blood lads who aren't getting regular cricket on Saturdays and juniors as well. And there's a few juniors coming through that maybe didn't play last year that I'm sure will get a go this year. Yeah.
As I say, I think the Sunday team, irrespective of who's captain, will be running exactly the same manner as it was last year by Trigger. As I say, I know full well there will be lads who will only be able to play on Sundays. So, those guys are going to get plenty of opportunity. And there's an opportunity there for lads who maybe aren't getting as much batting on a Saturday to go and get a bat on a Sunday and stuff like that. So, again, a real optimistic season for this Sundays to look forward to there, I think.
You've actually just reminded me of something, Neil, that we probably should have mentioned about the thirds. In that, because White Copies, where thirds play their home games, have now introduced a second team, we're now sharing with White Copies 2. So it does mean that some of our fixtures, half of our home fixtures, are now going to be played on Sundays, including our first fixture, who was against
Penworth and Forth.
So I don't think it'll interfere with some fixtures, but we'll work that out.
The hope is, I think there was only 2 or 3 games that clashed, and that the Sundays have more than enough scope to move those. So I don't think there'll be any clash. But as I say, hopefully, our availability on the Sundays won't be affected too much.
Yeah.
And as I was telling Sarah today, it gives me the option on a Saturday to go and watch more cricket, which she's absolutely delighted at. So so a weekend full of cricket. So we'll see. I've got a first team to go and watch. So yeah, no pressure first. I'm coming to watching. Give me some entertainment, will you? So Sundays, good luck to them. We'll move on to the T20 team. So T20 Division 2 South. Yes. So new captain for this season. Dom firmly gave up the captaincy, I think, about halfway through last year. So new captain is Adnan Patel. I'm desperately hoping the captaincy won't weigh heavy on his shoulders and stop his attacking batting style or play on his mind. I hope.
Yeah, I don't think anything would stop Adnan doing what Adnan does, to be quite honest.
No, I would doubt it. I would doubt it greatly. But yeah, so there you go. So he has sent me a little message, and when I say little, I mean 3 lines. But he said, my hope is that we play to our full potential. If we do that, I'm sure we can win most of the games, as we have players who are match winners for us. Plenty of players to keep an eye out on: Ryan, Ayaz, Aman, Trig, Cave, and Dom. So he's not including Mahfouz in there. Oh, sorry, no, he did. 2 lines further down. Oh, I forgot Mahfouz. I really shouldn't have forgotten about him. So yeah, so I think the T20 this year is really looking positive. I think Adnan will bring a new vigour to the captaincy. I don't think that team is going to. What's the saying? They're not gonna live. They're gonna not die by, live by the sword, die by the sword. I think that team will be this year. Yeah, so I think it's going to be an interesting campaign to watch for the T20 lads, and I would suggest it's going to be quite a tough. Well, I don't think we ever have an easy group.
It's been tough ever since we've been in it, but I think I have a certain optimism this year.
I mean, last year was a ridiculously tough group.
Yeah,
this year might be a little bit easier.
But with no disrespect to Dom at all, I suspect Adnan will be going in with a winning mentality. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying Dom didn't. Don't get me wrong, but I think the dynamics change, and with the players he's got available, if they are available for the T20. I think there's a strong the sort of lads that he's talking about. I mean, T20 is not so much about your ball, and it's about being able to hit the ball out of the ground. I always think. I'm a purist. I'm a test match fan.
I genuinely think for the last 2 seasons, I don't think bowling's been our problem. I think our batting has. I'm not going to say not had any structure to it, but I don't think there's been a lot of thought gone into how we've constructed innings. I think this year there will be more of an opportunity to really put people in the right places in that batting order.
Yeah.
To take account for the opportunities that are there.
Yeah.
So the teams in the group.
Adnan, you're opening with Mahfouz.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much a given. The teams in the group: Charnock St James, new to the T20. We played them in a friendly last year. Relatively close, but they won. But then again, I was playing in that team, so that tells you all you need to know about the team that we had out on that day.
You lost it.
Yeah. Exton seconds T20, Leyland seconds T20. Always a tough game, that one. Leyland seconds normally turn out very good. In fact, they won it last year. Vernon's seconds T20, and Withnell Fold, which is ex-BAC first team, who absolutely roundly scolded us at their place last year. And the highlight of that was Phil falling over when he got out. So at least we had some comedy on the day.
I had the misfortune of umpiring that one.
Yes, you did. You did. So we were roundly beaten on that day. So that might be one of the toughest games in that group, in all honesty. But I do agree with Adnan. If again, it's becoming a bit of an ongoing story.
If everyone fires on the day, we'll be hard to beat.
Yeah, and again, ongoing story across the club in all of the discussions so far. So that's T20. Good luck to Adnan in his first season as captain. So it's going to be a fun season across the senior teams. We'll quickly look at juniors because there's been some developments in the juniors over the closed season. More teams showing the development that we've wanted to show over the last 3 or 4 years. I think if everything comes together, we should have 5 junior teams this year. We're going to have, starting at the bottom, under 9s girls, our first introduction into girls cricket, under 9 girls softball, which is absolutely wonderful to see, given that I've had 2 girls of my own who have played cricket. I just love the fact that we are going into that and giving girls the opportunity to take their first strides into cricket. Again, apologies to Fiona and the junior lot if I get these teams wrong. I think I'm right. Under 10s softball, under 11s maybe softball and hardball. That's 4 teams. And then under 13s, which we may be loaning a couple of players for. That's 5 teams. Under 9 girls, under 10 softball, under 11 softball, under 11s hardball, and under 13s. There we go. That's 5 teams. So again, we say this every year, El, don't we? I know you've always used your mantra: a good club needs a strong junior setup, and we seem to be developing really, really well. So,
and to echo that, or to really underline that, there's going to be juniors from last year who are going to be having at least some games this year in the thirds.
Yeah.
And I've been watching a couple of them, 2 or 3 of them in nets, and I'd have no problem in putting them in the thirds at all. And not just as stand-ins, as integral members, bat, ball, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And looking at some of the makeup of some of the team, they're going to be doing all the running for us all fights as well.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
We ought to touch on the 3 lads who are old enough to play senior cricket. Obviously, and 4 lads, because James McGennity, we shouldn't forget. Obviously, James didn't really come through the junior setup as such, but is still there and playing in the Sundays. But Jack and Ollie and Joe Allison are the 3 that have come through the junior setup. Joe didn't play any seniors last year, but I'm absolutely certain we'll get games in the Sundays.
He should be one of the first names down on the Sunday team.
Yeah,
to benefit his development.
Yeah,
he's showing signs, a little bit raw. On the few times I've been to nets and seen him there, I've had a word with him about what he needs to be doing, what he needs to be concentrating on. And if he can do that, I think it could be he's he's 6 foot.
He is a tall lad for the age, yeah, sure.
And if he can use that and learn how to use that correctly, it could be a useful little ball. I don't know. I've never seen him bat, so I can't comment on his batting.
Yeah.
But there is something there that can be worked on. Ollie, I mean, I saw Ollie last night at nets, and you told me, and I saw it for myself last night. I was surprised at just how much he'd come on. He's got proper pace.
Yep.
He really has proper pace, and he looked, certainly when I'd seen him in nets, to be putting the ball in the right places. Usually, which is good.
Yeah.
And then Jack. I mean, Jack played a few times for the 3s last year. Did he play once for the 2s?
Played twice in the 2s, I think, last year.
Yeah. And again, a useful little ball, but a very careful bat as well.
Yeah.
A sensible bat.
Yes.
He knows what he's doing. He knows not to give his wicket away, which I think, as your Yorkshire colleague Jeff Boycott would say, that's the first object as a batsman.
Yeah.
Don't be out.
Yeah.
And he knows that.
Yeah, 100%. I've been at those winter nets this year and watched those three come on, and I think we've seen development in all three of them. Ollie's got to work out just the right pace to bowl because he does get a lovely away swing as well. So he's got to work not to try and bowl too fast, but he has got the pace to be able to hurry the batsman as well. And Jack, again, lovely in swing with his left arm. And Joe has come on a million miles from last year with his bowling. So, 100%, all three of them, plus James, who, again, came on wonderfully and took wickets last year in the Sundays. Those four should be, again, thriving this year. So it'll be good to see.
The only problem, Neil, is that we've now had to include their parents on the threes chat group, which means we can be a little bit more circumspect in what we say.
That thirds is tame compared to I'm sure the parents will be fine with a bit of fruitiness. There's no kids on there. They'll be right. Anyway.
To be fair, it always has been. Yeah.
So no, it's really good to see the juniors developing, and that transition between juniors and seniors is thriving. So that's great. That's great. We'll move on to the last topic, which is club activities. And boy, do we have plenty of them this year. So we have got 3 potentially fundraising matches this year. First one is on May Bank Holiday, the second May Bank Holiday at the end of May. Yes, that's right. I was saying March. I know we're in March now. End of May, which is a repeat of the match versus Preston Grasshoppers rugby social side, which we had 2 seasons ago, season that Harry was here. And Cuffs arranging that again. And like I said, that'll be the second bank holiday in May at the end of May, 25th of May, I believe it is, on a Sunday. So get down, there'll be a barbecue and a bar, and again, all funds going to the club. So that'll be another good event. Then for our August bank holiday match, we are again organising the 6-a-side competition, the Mike Cuffy Memorial Cup. We've run that at a couple of occasions. So I know, again, Cuff's involved with that. So he's trying to rope in some teams for that. I know he was invigorated, or some of the lads were invigorated by playing the Whittle 6-a-side event last year and winning it. So I know that's driven a few on to be able to want to get that 6-a-side up and running again. So hopefully that goes well, and that'll be another wonderful day, and that will be the August bank holiday at the end of August. We're also planning on doing, and this is very much still in the developmental planning stage at the moment, this year will be 10-year anniversary of the 2015 league winning side in the first. And I've spoken to a lot of those lads, and they want to get an anniversary match off the ground, whereby as many of those lads play against a team of current Whatleydale players. We may also integrate some Horton lads in. We want to do something in line with supporting James Ainscoe, who unfortunately had an accident in Dubai, our ex-player and ex-Horton player. So we want to do something along those lines. And I've spoken to a couple of the 2015 lads, and we're going to have a meet-up in a couple of weeks' time and try and arrange something because we want to honour those 2015 lads. It was an absolutely remarkable season with Alex Hines beating the league batting record and T20 team doing so well. So, can you not see me?
You're frozen for me. I can see you, but you're frozen in a rather...
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
That's fine. As long as people can hear me, that's the main thing.
You're just in a very unattractive... Please listen.
Well, I'm never in an attractive position, let's put it that way. So hopefully that's the case. And, hopefully we can get that 2015 match off the ground and take it from there. So yeah.
Sorry, I'm digressing. Can I just
of course.
What was it Sarah showing you? Because it wasn't really your cricket.
Oh, thank you very much. One of the other activities that is ongoing at the moment, which we set up and got going this week, the Fantasy League is back up and running. Kindly sponsored this year by Lucky's. Winner will receive a bat. Aman has already set his sights on a second bat in 2 years. Not sure why he needs 2 bats, but there you go.
Because where he hits the ball, he breaks him regularly.
Well, probably. So Fantasy League is now open. So get your team submitted, and hopefully we have as good a turnout as we had last year. I think we had 20 odd teams last year. So if we can get the same again, that'd be great. Remember, it's free entry. Don't moan about your price on the system. I don't really care. I've done it as fairly as I can. So I've already.
How much am I, Neil?
Oh, cheap as chips. Cheap as chips.
Bargain.
Bargain.
Get on me, people.
Get Elliot in your team. There
I'll
you
be
go.
opening the ball in for both ends this year.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Keeping wicket, opening the batting, doing the lot.
Writes a theme tune, sing the theme tune. Yeah. All that. Last thing we want to mention is our big fundraiser of the year, which will be the comedy night. First time we've ever attempted anything like this. Friday, the 4th of July, at Bamber Bridge Catholic Club. £10 a ticket. 3 very capable comedians, headlined by Phil Walker, son of Roy, and compared by Graham Rayner.
You've just got to bear in mind, Neil, that some of our audience, one would hope, may be of a generation that don't remember Roy Walker.
Well, say what you see.
Say what you see. Catchphrase, Mr. Chips.
Yeah. I don't think that'll have helped anybody, by the way, saying that.
Probably not. But Phil Walker's the really top comedian on the comedy circuit. He's been on TV and all sorts. As Phil Walker.
Yeah. Really, really looking forward to it. As I said, we wanted to do something like this. Talked about it for about the last 18 months, and now we finally got it off the ground. So if anybody wants any tickets, let me or Elle know. We'll add you to our very extensive spreadsheet, which Elliot detests with a vengeance.
The spreadsheet that I'm refusing to fill in. And
correct. Yes. You technophobe that you are. So hopefully it goes down a storm and we replicate it the year after, and it becomes a regular thing, because I think already we've worked out that there's. I don't want to demean it, but it hasn't took a lot to get it off the floor and get it up and running. And if we can make it a success, then I think it should be easy to keep it rolling. So,
Neil, just remind me, what's the capacity for Bamber Bridge Catholic Club?
I don't genuinely know. I think we've ordered originally 100 tickets.
I think you can get 200 in there, and I think we need to push the membership to be going out and getting every man and his dog, every mate they know, to come along and join in, because it will be a really good night. And the thing about nights like that is the more people you have in there, the more energy there is. The comedians bounce off. It just builds the energy, and it makes it such a better event for everyone, in terms of atmosphere, but also in terms of money in the coffers as well.
Yeah, we know we've got a minimum number of tickets we need to sell to break even. If we can't do that, there's something wrong with us. And we're going to have a raffle on the night, and we're hoping to get some really, really good prizes in for the raffle, which will boost the coffers even more. And ultimately, to everybody who's watching, everybody who watches this after on our YouTube channel, the more we can sell, the more funds we can bring into the club, the better we can make the club moving forward. And ultimately, that's all that matters.
And if anyone does want to contribute to the raffle, please do. You know me, I like an auction, because I think you make more money off an auction. If anyone has anything really good to give to us, like they have a holiday home in some fancy far off place that they want to donate for a week, you can usually make a few grand off something like that in an auction. So please feel free to let Neil or myself know of anything like that you might want to offer to us.
And when I say about supporting the comedy night, that goes for any of those club activities.
Yeah.
The more support we get, the more money we make, the better it is for the club moving forward. So
please turn up to the Grasshoppers cricket match. Unfortunately, I think there's a third 11 game that day.
Yes, it does clash with the third 11. One of the Sunday games, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously I won't be there. But that shouldn't detract anyone else that's available to go along and watch and contribute financially and with your support.
Absolutely. Just to finish with, we should thank all the sponsors. Feed the Beast remain our main club sponsor, year 2 of our 3-year deal. We thank them for their ongoing support. As you can see, no, wrong side. There, Feed the Beast. And obviously MTS Logistics, Bob's company, sponsoring the T20 shirts. I wore mine last night, so I couldn't bring it down tonight. It was filthy and stank. So yeah, we've got who else? We got Ian Wilds. He said, trying to think of all the others. Kendall's. Our charity partner continues to be St. Catherine's Hospice. We're hoping to do some stuff with the comedy night to raise some funds for St. Catherine's Hospice. Come on, Al, who am I missing? Player of the Week we have again this year, sponsored by Garden Terrace Coffee House in Leyland, and their prize has been boosted this year.
Well, do you get a cake as well?
You get a cake as well. Not only do you get a free hot or cold drink of your choice, you get a cake as well.
Hey, did I win one last year? Because I'm sure
Probably not. No.
No, I did. No, I think I did.
Did you?
I did cash it in. Yeah.
No. Well, it's too late now.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to win another one this year.
The problem is it costs me more in fuel to get over to Leyland.
It probably does to get from Clitheroe up to Leyland, yeah. But you never know. You might be in Leyland one afternoon.
Right.
But then you've got to win it. So, yeah. So, thanks to those guys. As I said, we've got a prize every week for Player of the Week. I dread to think if Mafuz comes off how many cakes and coffees he'll be having. But there you go. So, yeah, it'll be... I think that's about it. Unless anybody's got anything else that they're going to throw in the chat.
There was something to mention, Neil, while you talk about sponsorship, and that's player sponsorship.
Yes.
This year we have asked players to go out and try and get sponsors, 20, 30 quid. What we'll do is we'll put them on social media, on whatever social media we have. The better your player does, the more social media coverage you will get, I suppose. So if this goes out to players, but anyone else that would like to sponsor a player, it's a really easy and relatively cheap way of helping the club and supporting your fave.
I mean, let's face it, 20 quid for a season's worth of mentions, because ultimately your company will get mentioned, even if your player's not doing so well. You'll get mentioned on.
Actually, if your player does something surprisingly crap, you might get an even bigger mention.
Correct. You know, if somebody gets a really impressive golden duck, for example, there's always scope to mention something like that on social media.
And I think I'm leading the way because I've got 3 sponsors somehow.
Yes, I think you're the only one with 3 sponsors, although Jake Phillips has suggested he might have as many as 5, which is going to be interesting for me to try and fit on a graphic, but we'll see. We'll work with that. But yeah, I echo Elliot's comments. We've had some really good feedback from the guys who have got sponsors already, but there's plenty of members who are yet to get sponsors.
You know, you don't have to be a business; you can be an individual. Doesn't matter. But it's a cheap way to sponsor the club, essentially.
Yeah, 100%. So anybody who wants to, either player or person or company who'd like to get involved in that, give us a shout, and we can take it from there. There's plenty of opportunity. So, is that it from your side, Elliot?
Still 1-0 England. Kane's missed 2 sitters. Yeah, that's about it.
Does anybody care about international football anymore?
Yeah,
I mean, I suppose if you're a Blackburn fan, you've got to care about it, haven't you?
Yeah, thank you. You're a Sheffield Wednesday fan. Listen, who's in the worst place? I was looking at, there was something cropped up on my Facebook, I think it was, that I was looking at before, and it was, what's the best franchise cricket? Which is your favourite franchise cricket? And I almost replied with Boddington's Village Cricket League, because I really hate franchise cricket.
Yeah, well, slightly on that note, I got asked if I was going to go to a 100 game this year, which I quite frankly detest. From the 2 or 3 occasions I've been to 100 matches, I will be going to T20 Blast matches this year. So we will try and plan. On that note, we will try and plan a club day out at a T20 Blast game again, as we've done the last couple of years with the lovely free tickets from Lancashire.
Who's touring this summer?
Who's touring? Not sure. Not sure. Don't know.
I'm hoping to get to the first Ashes test in Perth in November, but
oh yes, you're visiting Mr. Cousins, aren't you?
I'm fingers crossed I will be doing that. But yeah, I mean, if any of the lads listening from the club want to have a look together at, I mean, the problem is we're probably too late to buy tickets now for Old Trafford. That's something we can probably consider. That'd be a good day out.
But yeah, certainly we'll be sorting a T20 Blast day. So yeah, we'll get tickets for that and get along. So that'll be another club event. So yeah, plenty going on around the club, plenty to look forward to on the field, lots of optimism. So yeah, fingers crossed to a good season, and let's hope there's plenty of fireworks down at the Rec. I just worry about some solar panels down at the Rec.
Well, I was going to say fireworks, but the Rec Society allow that.
If they won't allow fireworks, no. But yeah, so I hope Gareth's all over the insurance policy this year. That's all I can say. And we've got plenty of balls out. So
yeah. In fact, anyone coming to watch the first team this year down at the Rec, you might be better parking elsewhere.
Yeah. Further down Io Walton Road, but don't tell
how many car windows went through last year? 2.
I believe 2. I only thought that one that had on it, but apparently there was another one
from Ayaz.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So let's try and improve on 2 cars hit this year. There you go.
Thankfully, car park at White Coppice is far enough away.
It is. Adnan and Mahfouz, your target is Ayaz.
Yeah.
Ryan.
I'm
Ryan. Yeah, I'm Ryan. Yeah, absolutely. So, right, guys, that's it. We've 71 minutes. Wow. Yeah, but I'm wondering if there's anybody still tuned in. Thanks very much for watching, everyone.
I tuned out ages ago, Neil.
Yeah, I know you tuned out. Remember, you can watch this back on our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. That's how the kids do it. And yeah, just keep giving us your support. Really appreciate it. And good luck to anybody who's watching, whether you're Whatleydale or not, for your 2025 season. You know, sun will be out soon. Don't worry. Honest, it really will be. And hope you have a flat deck wherever you may play. So, Elliot, thank you for joining us as usual.
Thanks, Dale. No, you're welcome.
And we shall see you all soon.